Welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wished that your English could improve naturally, without spending hours studying grammar rules or memorizing endless vocabulary lists? What if I told you that one simple habit, practiced for just 30 minutes a day, could completely transform the way you understand, speak, and use English? And the best part? You don't need expensive courses. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to be a fluent speaker already. All you need is a book, an article, a story, or anything interesting to read. Many learners believe English fluency comes from studying complicated grammar or attending long classes. But in reality, some of the biggest improvements come from small daily habits repeated consistently. Reading for just 30 minutes every day can quietly train your brain to understand English faster, remember vocabulary naturally, and build confidence without pressure. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be perfect. You simply have to be consistent. Stay with me until the end of this video because today I'll show you exactly how a simple 30-minute reading habit can change your English. Whether you're a complete beginner, someone who feels shy while speaking, or a learner who thinks their English is still weak, this method can help you move forward step by step. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why most English learners feel stuck. 1. I want to start this chapter with a simple truth. Many people want to learn English, but many people feel stuck. They study for months, sometimes for years, but they feel they are not improving. They forget words. They feel nervous when they speak. They think English is difficult. If you feel like this, you are not alone. I have met thousands of students in my life and most of them feel the same at the beginning. When you are a beginner, English can feel scary. There are many new words. There are grammar rules. There is pronunciation. There is also fear. Fear of making mistake. Fear of sounding silly. Fear of not understanding. Because of this fear, many students stop using English. They study about English but they do not live with English. This is where reading becomes very important. Reading is a safe place. When you read, nobody is watching you. Nobody is correcting you. Nobody is laughing at you. You can take your time. You can read slowly. You can read again. You can stop and think. This makes reading perfect for beginners. You learn without pressure. You learn without stress. Many students ask me why reading? Why not speaking first? This is a very good question. Speaking is important, but speaking becomes easier when your brain is ready. Reading prepares your brain. When you read, your eyes see correct English again and again. Your brain starts to recognize words. It starts to recognize sentence patterns. You may not notice it, but learning is happening quietly. Think about how children learn their first language. First, they listen a lot. They hear words again and again. They hear the same sentences many times. Only later do they start speaking. Reading works in a similar way for adults. When you read, you are giving your brain good English input. This input is the foundation of speaking. Another important thing is this. Reading helps you feel calm with English. Many beginners feel nervous when they open a grammar book. They see rules, tables, and long explanations. This can be confusing. But when you open a simple story or a simple text, you feel relaxed. You feel curious. You want to know what happens next. This feeling is very powerful. When you enjoy something, you learn faster. Now let us talk about the idea of 30 minutes. Why 30 minutes? Why not 2 hours? Why not 5 minutes? 30 minutes is a magic number for many learners. It is not too long so you do not feel tired. It is not too short so your brain has time to focus. 30 minutes is easy to put into your daily life. You can read in the morning. You can read before sleeping. You can read during a break. You do not need a perfect time. You only need a regular time. Consistency is more important than intensity. Reading 30 minutes every day is much better than reading 3 hours once a week. When you read every day, your brain stays connected to English. You do not forget easily. English becomes part of your daily life. Slowly English stops feeling like a subject. It starts feeling like a language. I want to tell you something very important. You do not need to understand every word when you read. Many beginners think they must understand everything. This idea creates stress. When you read, your main goal is understanding the message, not every single word. If you understand most of the text, you are doing very well. Your brain will learn the rest over time. Reading also builds confidence. Every time you finish a page, you feel good. Every time you finish a story, you feel proud. These small successes are very important. They change how you see yourself. You stop saying I am bad at English. You start saying I am learning English. This change in mindset is powerful. Some students say but I am very slow. This is normal. Speed comes later. At the beginning, slow reading is good reading. It means your brain is working. It means you are paying attention. With time, speed improves naturally. You do not need to force it. So in this first chapter, I want you to remember one thing. Reading is not just about words. Reading is about building a relationship with English. It is about spending time with the language in a calm and friendly way. 30 minutes every day can slowly change how you feel about English. And when your feelings change, your results change too. In the next chapter, I will explain what really happens inside your brain when you read for 30 minutes every day. Many students are surprised when they learn this, and this surprise often gives them strong motivation to continue. Chapter 2. In the previous chapter, we spoke about why reading is such a powerful habit for English learners. Now, in this chapter, I want to explain what really happens when you read for 30 minutes every day. Many students think that learning must feel hard. They think they must feel tired or confused to believe they are learning. But real learning often happens quietly. Reading is a perfect example of this. When you read every day, your brain starts to notice patterns. At first, you only see words. Some words are familiar and some words are new. You may stop many times to understand the meaning. This is normal. But after a few days, something interesting starts to happen. You begin to recognize words without thinking too much. Your eyes see the word and your brain understands it quickly. This is how vocabulary grows naturally. You do not need to memorize long word lists. When you read, words appear in real sentences. These sentences show you how the word is used. You see which words go together. You see how the word behaves in different situations. This kind of learning is deeper than memorization. Your brain remembers the word because it has a story, a context, and a meaning. Another important thing happens when you read daily. Your brain becomes comfortable with English. At the beginning, English may feel strange. The sentence order may feel different from your native language. But when you read every day, this feeling slowly disappears. Your brain starts to accept English as normal. This is very important for beginners. Many students say, I read, but I feel I am not improving. This is a common feeling. Improvement does not always feel dramatic. It is like growing taller. You do not notice it every day, but after some time, you see the difference. Reading works the same way. One day you suddenly realize that a text feels easier. Another day you understand a sentence without translating. These are signs of real progress. Reading also improves your focus. In today's world, many people are distracted. Phones, messages, and videos take our attention. Reading for 30 minutes trains your brain to focus on one thing. This focus helps you learn better. When your brain is calm and focused, learning becomes faster and easier. There is also something very special about repetition. When you read regularly, you see the same words and sentence structures again and again. This repetition is not boring. It is helpful. Every time you see the same pattern, your brain becomes more confident. Slowly, these patterns become automatic. Later, when you speak or write, they come out naturally. Another benefit of daily reading is understanding. You start to understand English without translating into your native language. At first, you may translate every sentence in your head. This is normal. But with regular reading, this habit becomes weaker. Your brain starts to think directly in English. This is a big step for any learner. Reading also helps your listening skills. This may sound strange, but it is true. When you read a lot, you become familiar with how English sentences are built. Later, when you listen to English, your brain recognizes these patterns. Listening becomes easier because the structure is already familiar. It is very important to remember that reading should not feel like a test. You are not reading to prove anything. You are reading to spend time with English. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel difficult. Both are normal. What matters is that you continue. 30 minutes every day may feel small, but over time it becomes powerful. 30 minutes a day is more than 3 hours a week. In 1 month it becomes many hours of English exposure. In 1 year it becomes a strong foundation. This is how small habits create big results. So in this chapter 1, want you to understand one key idea. When you read for 30 minutes every day, your brain is working even when you feel nothing special is happening. Trust the process. Learning is happening quietly, deeply, and naturally. In the next chapter, I will help you understand what you should read and how to choose the right reading material for your level. Chapter 3. Now that you understand what happens when you read for 30 minutes every day, it is time to talk about a very important question. What should you read? This question is critical especially for beginners. Many students make mistakes here and these mistakes can destroy motivation. But when you choose the right reading material, learning becomes enjoyable and effective. The first rule is very simple. You must read something that interests you. If the text is boring, your brain will resist learning. You will feel tired quickly. You will lose focus. But when the text is interesting, you want to continue reading. You are curious. Curiosity is a powerful learning tool. It keeps you engaged without effort. The second rule is about level. Many learners think that difficult books will help them learn faster. This is not true. If a text is too difficult, you will stop many times. You will look up too many words. You will feel frustrated. This frustration is dangerous. It makes you want to quit. For beginners, the best text is one where you understand most of the words. If you understand about 80 to 90% of the text, you are at the right level. Graded readers are very good for this. They are written specially for learners. The language is simple, clear, and natural. The stories are interesting and the vocabulary grows slowly. Short stories are also a good choice. Simple articles about daily life, hobbies, or work can also be useful. You do not need big novels at the beginning. Simple texts are powerful. Now, let us talk about new words. When you read, you will see words that you do not know. This is normal. Do not panic. Do not stop reading for a long time. When you see a new word, you can look it up in a dictionary. Then you continue reading. You do not need to write the word in a notebook. You do not need to memorize it. You only need to understand the meaning and move on. Many students ask, should I write new words? For beginners, my answer is simple. Focus on reading, not collecting words. When you read regularly, important words appear again and again. Your brain will remember them naturally. Writing every word can slow you down and remove the joy from reading. Another important point is reading speed. Some students worry because they read slowly. Slow reading is not a problem. In fact, slow reading is good at the beginning. It means you are paying attention. It means you are understanding. Speed will improve with time. You do not need to push yourself. It is also important to read every day, even if you feel tired, even if you feel busy. Some days reading will feel easy, some days it will feel hard. This is normal. The habit is more important than the feeling. 30 minutes every day builds a strong connection with English. Do not compare yourself with others. Every learner is different. Some people read fast. Some people read slow. Some people understand quickly. Some people need more time. All of this is normal. The only thing that matters is that you continue. Another helpful idea is to read the same type of text for some time. This helps your brain get used to certain vocabulary and sentence patterns. Later you can change topics and styles, but at the beginning familiarity is helpful. So remember this. Choose easy and interesting text. Do not chase difficult words. Do not turn reading into a test. Reading is your daily meeting with English. It should feel friendly, not scary. In the next chapter, I will explain how reading helps you speak better even when you are not speaking at all. This idea surprises many learners, but it can change the way you see reading forever. Chapter 4. Many learners believe that to speak English well, they must speak a lot from the beginning. Speaking is important, but speaking becomes much easier when your mind is prepared. This is where reading plays a very powerful role. Reading helps your speaking even when you are not speaking at all. This idea may sound strange at first, but it is very real. When you read every day, your brain stores sentences. It stores how words are placed together. These sentences slowly become familiar. You may not remember them consciously, but they stay in your mind. Later, when you want to speak, these sentences help you. They come to your mind naturally. You do not have to build every sentence from zero. Many beginners struggle because they try to translate from their native language. This makes speaking slow and stressful. Reading helps reduce this problem. When you read a lot, you see English sentences again and again. Your brain starts thinking in English sentence order. Slowly translation becomes less necessary. Another important point is confidence. Reading builds confidence quietly. Every time you understand a paragraph, your confidence grows. Every time you finish a story, you feel successful. This confidence shows in your speaking. When you believe you can understand English, you also believe you can speak it. Reading also helps with pronunciation. Even though you are not speaking aloud, when you read, you create an inner voice in your mind. This inner voice becomes more accurate over time. Later when you listen to English or speak English, your pronunciation feels more natural because your brain already knows the sound patterns. Some learners say, I know words, but I cannot speak. This usually means they know words in isolation. Reading solves this problem. It teaches words in sentences. It teaches how words connect. This is exactly what speaking means. Speaking is not about single words. It is about connecting ideas. Another benefit of reading is fluency. Fluency does not mean fast speaking. Fluency means smooth speaking. When you read regularly, your brain becomes familiar with common expressions. These expressions come out easily when you speak. You do not stop too much. You do not think too much. You just speak. It is important to understand that speaking ability grows in stages. First you understand, then you feel comfortable. Then you start speaking more. Reading supports all these stages. It gives you input before output. This order is natural and effective. You do not need to force speaking before you are ready. Many learners feel pressure to speak too early. This creates fear and frustration. Reading removes this pressure. It allows you to prepare silently. When you start speaking, you feel more ready and more relaxed. Another thing reading gives you is ideas. Many beginners do not speak because they do not know what to say. Reading gives you topics, stories, and ideas. When you speak, you can talk about what you read. This makes speaking easier and more meaningful. So remember this, you are not wasting time when you read. You are building the foundation of speaking. Every page you read is helping your future conversations. Trust this process. In the next chapter, we will talk about grammar. Many learners fear grammar, but reading can help you learn grammar naturally without stress and without long rules. Chapter 5. Grammar is one of the biggest fears for English learners. Many students think grammar is difficult, boring, and full of rules. They remember school lessons with long explanations and many mistakes marked in red. Because of this, they feel nervous when they hear the word grammar. But grammar does not have to be scary. When you read regularly, grammar becomes natural. Think about how you learned your first language. You did not study grammar rules as a child. You learned by listening and using the language. Your brain noticed patterns naturally. The same thing can happen when you learn English. Reading shows you correct grammar again and again. Without effort, your brain learns what sounds right. When you read books, stories, or simple texts, the sentences are written correctly. They follow natural grammar. Every sentence you read is a grammar lesson, but a very friendly one. You see how verbs are used. You see how sentences are formed. You see how questions and negatives work. This learning happens quietly. Many learners try to memorize grammar rules, but they forget them quickly. This happens because rules without context are hard to remember. Reading gives you context. You see grammar in real sentences with meaning. This makes grammar easier to understand and remember. Another important point is that grammar is not about perfection. Grammar is about communication. When you read, you see how grammar helps express ideas clearly. You learn which grammar structures are common and useful. You do not waste time on rare or complicated rules. Some students want to learn grammar because they want to speak well. For these students, reading is one of the best tools. When you read a lot, you start using correct grammar naturally when you speak. You may not know the rule, but you know the sentence feels right. Other students need grammar for exams. For them, reading is still helpful. Reading builds a strong base. When you later study grammar rules, they make more sense because you have seen them many times before. Reading also helps you avoid common mistakes. When you see correct sentences again and again, incorrect sentences start to feel wrong. This feeling is very valuable. It helps you correct yourself naturally. It is important to be patient. Grammar learning through reading is slow but strong. You do not see results in one day, but over time your grammar improves steadily. Many learners are surprised when they realize they are speaking more correctly without studying rules. You do not need to stop grammar study completely. But grammar study should not be the main focus for beginners. Reading should come first. Grammar can come later when you feel more confident. So remember this, grammar is not an enemy. Grammar is a tool. Reading teaches you how to use this tool naturally. Every page you read is helping your grammar, even if you do not notice it. In the next chapter, we will talk about how to build the habit of reading for 30 minutes every day and how to keep this habit for life. Chapter 6. Now that you know why reading is powerful, how it improves your vocabulary, speaking, and grammar, it is time to talk about the most important thing. How to make reading a daily habit. Many learners know that reading is useful, but they do not do it every day. Without consist,